listeners, thank you. I'm here with
Jalini.
Jalini. Oh, sorry, I did
Don't worry.
mispronounce your name.
Don't worry.
But let her explain who she is and what's her passion and what all fancy about her.
Oh my goodness.
The mic to you.
So I'm from Singapore originally, born and bred. I have Sri Lankan and Portuguese background. That's my heritage. The interesting thing about me, I guess, because I moved to Colombia and was teaching there for 6 years before deciding to come to Spain to do my master's. I think children are our future, so if we can try to convince them to do things ethically, treat each other with kindness, be fair to our male and female counterparts, and respect our elders. I think if we can start them young, when they get to be adults, they'll be able to handle themselves better, regulate themselves better, and have a better society in general. And hopefully that would help people not make unethical decisions and cause a lot of suffering. So that's my purpose.
I really love what you said. Children are our future, because I totally agree to this. I mean, yeah, so just teach them our values, give them the opportunities to get more knowledge. That's what all I am about, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm a bit longer in this planet Earth than you, for sure, but I'm learning every day new things. Since 2 years I learned Spanish and I speak 4 languages.
Nice.
And I learned 2 more.
Very good.
One of them is Portuguese for some reason.
Cool. I know 6, but I've only been using half. So the other, yes, that means 3. So like the other 3 are fizzling out. But when I do go home to Singapore and meet my friends, then it slowly comes back to me. The vocabulary comes back to me, and I understand everybody perfectly. But yeah, you do lose some of the languages when you don't get to practice.
I was kind of blessed that I have to say that grow up in Germany. So you learn the most complicated language as your mother tongue. But then in the first 6 years, I learned already 2 more languages, English and French, right? And then I'm go from there, right?
What kind of languages do you like to speak, or what's your favorite mode of communication? Or should I say, what's your heart language?
Oh, that's a difficult question. So I think in English. I try to read as much I can in German, but I don't speak much German because for some reason. Mm-hmm. And now I learn Spanish, right? So I mean, but when I go out here, it's all in Spanish.
Right. It's funny you mentioned that, because I do have other friends who are foreigners as well here, but they're in their community, and so they don't really go outside their community to learn the local language. And I think that could be a bit like a barrier. I think one of the things that you have to do when you move to another country is to learn the local language and not go on for 10 years not learning the local language. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's not a good thing though.
I think we have now to mention Nicole, because she would say, she said, I was born in the US, but I'm international, right? That's the same for me, because I always saw an advantage if you go. I worked in the Philippines, I worked in Singapore, I worked in Africa, I worked all over the world except in Latin America. But it was always an advantage if you speak a little bit of language, understand the culture, because then you have a better connection, right?
Exactly. And I think if you speak the local language, you'll connect with the locals better.
Yes.
They'll respect you better, and they want to help you more.
And that's my experience here. So I live in a barrio where not much people speak English, or they don't want to speak English because they're shy to speak English. But if I speak with them in Spanish, even my Spanish is broken and not totally perfect, my accent is also not Spanish, but I get connected. And then they show up with a little bit English and say, oh, you speak a little bit English? But now they don't feel shy anymore, right? And this is for me a wonderful connection, right? And everyone's asking me, you can teach me English. Oh, wonderful. You teach me Spanish, I teach you English, right?
Right. I think that's one of also a common barrier as people. I don't want to say that word, but I'm going to say it because xenophobia is not something people want. Yeah, xenophobia is not something that people want to talk about or acknowledge that it's there. But I want to say, like, as foreigners coming in and they are willing to talk to the local people, these kinds of beliefs will break down. These kinds of negativity will break down, and people want to welcome more foreigners instead of like being, I'm scared, maybe they'll steal our jobs, maybe they'll steal our women, maybe they'll, it's a complex situation.
Yeah, it is.
I know it's not supposed to be that heavy, but it's there.
Can I say something to this?
Sure.
First of all, we are all human beings of this planet Earth.
Exactly.
And that's all what I have to say, okay?
Exactly.
And if you're afraid, okay, I'm just me.
And because we are people who travel a lot,
yes,
we accept cultures,
yes,
and we meet people from different cultures much easily than someone who has not left their neighborhood for the past 30 to 45 years.
Yes.
When those foreigners come in and meet somebody like that, they would be like, I'm suspicious about this person.
Yes.
It's like a new bacteria or something.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, let's be friends. Let's try to speak. Let's try to exchange recipes, culture, dances, art. So like those things should be leaving instead of being there at the moment. It's there, but like we've come a very long way, I think. And
as human beings, yes.
Yes, we have for many years.
And then let's go back. If human beings would not explore other areas, we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
If they all would stay in the hood in Africa, then nobody would be in Europe, right?
Yeah,
and there was an interchange of different races. I mean,
yes.
not races like now, but races like really human being kind of species. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean, right?
Yes.
Like Neanderthals, like Homo sapiens, right?
Yes, yes.
And in one way
they start from the very beginning.
One way they merged, and then one got fade away and the other evolved. But that's nature, right?
Exactly.
But we are better than this right now.
We are better than this.
And then the most important thing is there are two kind. For me, I don't want to make a judgment, but there are two kind of people who understand this and saying if we all work together and if we accept each other and the religion, whatever religion background, whatever background, and we work together, then it's the only way how we solve, right?
Yes.
Because that's our future. And then go back to the children. That's the message, right?
Correct. That's why I like auxiliaries programs. That's why I like all of these volunteer English speaking programs, because I feel like English could be a way to like build everyone together. But
it's the most common
it's the
language.
most common way. It's the most common language. If we also use other languages, that could be another thing too. To unite everybody and be exposed, because a lot of the children who are involved in these auxiliaries programs, they only know maybe 3 to 4 countries that are popularly speaking English and nothing else. And so when someone like me come in and go like, I'm from Singapore, and Singapore has English as one of the other 4 national languages, official languages. They go, really? Miss, you speak English? How come? I'm like, there are other countries that have English who has their official languages. And so using English to unite everybody and expose everybody to the world, it's a good thing.
So let me tell my story about Singapore. So I was there twice, right? The first time I had a project, so I was hired to go there and talk to the government of Singapore, by the way. So to an agency, right? And the people were so nice. They brought me to a German restaurant. They brought me to a Chinese restaurant. They brought me to Chinatown. Then we had a party on the rooftop somewhere to where the harbor is, right? So I had good time, and I stayed also because my client paid for it in a very good hotel where you get at 4 o'clock English tea time. You get a beverage for free and some sandwiches.
Oh my goodness. So, as a Singaporean, at least most of us, if any Singaporeans are listening to this, we usually eat 4 to 5 times a day. Our portion of foods are small.
Yeah, I like that.
So, we have more space in between to eat like smaller foods, and like a lot of the different cultures have small portions of everything, or a general portion of everything, not American size or European size portion of everything.
American size is like...
So like we are able to eat a lot, and like we get hungry after we go to the club or something.
Like in Spain, right?
Yes.
You have a drink, you get a tapa, right?
Exactly, a small portion of
and
food.
This is also a tradition in the Philippines, right? When only the men sit together having some drinks, they have some food, right? But that's interesting though, because I was so many times in the Philippines. I walked there, and but there you see the culture, and I mean, I have still lots of friends coming from there. I met them in Toronto, I met them everywhere, right?
Right. I like culture as much as I can and possibly will. It's hard when you come from something you have grown up with for so many years and then go to another country and like, that's not how we do it over here. And then like, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
so,
I know
like,
exactly what you mean.
You need to have patience and acceptance on not trying to impose your culture, but try to respect it. That's the best you can do.
So I was always a rebel when I grew up, in a way, right? So when I grew up in this small town in Germany, it's close to Frankfurt, right? And they had wine festivals. And then, first of all, I don't want to listen to the German radio station because I found the music boring. So I listened to the US Soldier radio station because I liked them more the music, and I met these guys. They got lost when they came to the wine festival. So there I practiced my English, right? Wow. Helping these GIs getting lost to find their way home.
Oh my goodness.
And I mean, yeah, so that's my story in Germany. And then I decided it's boring here, so I have to go somewhere else. And then I went to the US, to Canada, and then my journey started, right? Because it was too small for me.
Yeah. What would you say would be your biggest takeaway from moving and growing up in Germany?
Experiences, right?
Yeah.
Meeting people, learning new things, learning new languages, right?
That's interesting.
I mean, and then I would say we are Germans. I have to say that we are always eager to learn more because that's how we are in a way, right?
Yes.
And I mean, look at the music scene. Let's talk about that, right? I mean, the music scene in Germany. Who thinks they're actually German? There's a German hip hop, right? Like
yes, I've heard.
Fanta 4 or Fantastische 4.
Yes.
But I mean, when I was younger, so why I would listen to this German blah blah. I mean, it's all. So I want to be challenged, so I listen to English songs, right? But then there's also French songs, there's Spanish songs, right?
Mm-hmm. A lot of people ask me, what do you identify yourself with? Are you more Asian? Are you more Latin? Are you more American? Okay. And I
So what's your answer to that?
I told them honestly because I feel like I found out who I was in Colombia.
Okay.
I would say at heart I'm Colombian. I learned a lot from them, from all of the ladies, because coming from Singapore, like, girls should be this way and like, be a,
it's another tradition, like
it's a very
the Latina tradition, right?
Yes.
But if I would answer this question, I'm just me, right?
Right.
I mean, I've seen it all in a way, right? And now I'm doing podcasts and other things. I don't want to write a book.
I think you should. I
No,
think we all should.
but it's too boring. I mean, multimedia is the thing, right?
Yes.
So I rather do podcasts and tell my stories in conversation with other interesting people like with you, so to write a book, right? And then, but what I say, I mean, I like storytelling. I mean, I just go out in the morning for my exercise, and I saw this guy, an old guy with a mask. We don't need mask anymore. He came with his water bottle and he just watered a tree in a public space. I said, the first thing I thought was, this guy has a mission.
To save trees.
No, I mean, maybe he has nothing else to do. Just every morning he wants to give this tree, and it was a very small one, like
Yes.
not existing, right?
Yes.
And this taught me about mindful aging, right? Because if you're retired, then you need some purpose in your life, right? Even you're done with all your working, right?
So you would say your purpose is sharing stories. Would
Yes,
you say that's your
yes.
purpose?
And I will use my talent in photography, videography, writing, and podcasting, whatever. Not tell my story, to tell stories, what I see. I mean, if I make a picture, then there could be a story behind, right?
Right. That's cool.
So I mean, at heart, I'm an artist. Even I never made it as an artist, but now I'm on my way.
Yes. Have you tried to do any paintings?
No, I'm not good with painting.
Not yet. Not yet.
I like more photography because this is where electronic painting for me.
Okay, fair enough.
So, okay, let's switch with topic. So, tell me your story, how you came to Madrid, because this is all interesting.
Yeah, so it all happened back in 2016. There were many things that happened to me leading up to that decision. And the decision was to leave Singapore, take everything I have.
Okay, that would be an important decision.
That was a big decision, and I would do it all over again. Leave Singapore and go volunteer as a teacher in Colombia with the local government that they had. They were hiring all native English speakers all over the world.
Same what they're doing in the city of Madrid.
Correct. And so I did it for a year. I loved it. I got hired as a full-timer. I moved to another city. So I first started in Cucuta. That's a town at the border with Venezuela.
Oh, okay.
And I lived with 3 women who do not speak a word of English.
Wow, you had to learn Spanish.
Yes, because I wanted to learn Spanish. I wanted to learn with people who can't speak English and translate for me so that I can learn it and have a good foundation. I was mesmerized by the way that they spoke up for themselves, the way they are independent, the way that they are successful professional women. And then from there, I moved to the coffee region. Coffee region, Manizales. I did that for 3 years, and then the last 2 years I moved to Cartagena.
That's on the coast.
That's right. Cartagena is beautiful. Manizales has the best coffee in the world. Coffee region, Colombia. I'm sorry.
Coffee.
Sorry to my Brazilian neighbors, but I'm sorry. Colombia has the best coffee, hands down.
That's your decision.
That's my
Don't
decision.
you need to be sorry for that? It's just not decision. It's just
It's his perspective. It's just my perspective.
There's so much coffee in the world, by the way. Arabic coffee, whatever, even Filipino coffee. So.
Yes. And so, in that time in Cartagena, one of my colleagues from Michigan, she was from this current program that I was in. And she told me about this program in Instituto Franklin, where you are allowed to do your master's in teaching and then work as an assistant. So I applied for it. I got in, and I'm here in Madrid, and I did the.
Yeah, but okay, Colombia. So first you're born up in Singapore, then you went to Colombia. So what was the next step before you came to Madrid?
This was the next step.
Oh, that was the next step.
Yes, that was my next step. Moving from Colombia to Madrid with my cat that I
It's your cat,
adopted.
Gato. Oh, wow.
Yes, I adopted her and then I got her with me on the plane. We
Wow, you brought her
survived.
all the way from Colombia to Madrid.
Yeah, she's
So
my
you have a-
baby.
Imported a Colombian cat.
Correct.
Wow. What a story.
Exactly. And before coming to Madrid, I didn't know how hard it was to get an apartment. And so I had to find Colombians in Madrid on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
And I typed, hey, I'm not from Colombia, but my cat is.
I have a Colombian cat.
Can you house us while we find an
Wow.
apartment? And then one of the ladies replied to me and she housed me for a month. I paid her the rent.
Wow.
And then from there, I moved. I found an apartment that was cat friendly, and I did the program with Nicole. I met Nicole.
Yeah, she's kind of amazing.
Yes.
And she has a similar story, right?
Yes.
And you can all listen in the podcast about us. And by the way, we have only one episode. There will be 2 more.
Yes, there will be 2 more. I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay. So
And so I came here.
perfect. So my story about finding an apartment here. So first, I lived in Barcelona. I had an apartment there, but I had. Why I choose Barcelona? Okay. I was involved in this Maltese company, and then they brought me to the startup program for La Salle in Barcelona. So I got a connection. That was during COVID time. So I couldn't even make it in person there, but I said, oh, Barcelona is a nice city, it's on the beach and whatever. It sounds interesting, right? So I made a decision that I'm not happy with my life in Canada, and don't go in detail. So I said, sell my house, get all kind of settled, pack my stuff and go to Barcelona.
Wow.
And since then I'm in Spain. But I had to go back and forth to work on some papers. Well, I never regret that decision. It was the best decision in my life because I'm happy.
Yeah.
And Barcelona was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything good
You
about
must be the only
living
one.
in Barcelona other than the church and the beach. I heard it's crazy.
First of all, a lot of expats,
Okay.
interesting artist scene. So I met a lot of artists. But also it's a party town, right? Because a lot of people where I lived really in the touristic area. There are only people for 2 days a week or something, and then when they are there, then they enjoy life, right? They get nuts in a way, right? And then I met only 2 kind of people. The tourists and the people who work in the hospitality industry, right? And I never went further. And then here's a kind of interesting. So I met someone from Madrid, and she convinced me to be here. And then on the other side, Madrid was the capital of Spain. I wanted to go around in Spain. So I just packed my stuff and moved to Madrid.
Yeah, and also from Madrid, there are a lot of the trains that start from Madrid and go all over Spain, so it's easier compared to commuting from Barcelona to other parts of Spain. All of the trains
it's
are
a central,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So
And I had again regarding the apartment, I had always help to find it.
that's nice. That's nice. We had to find it on our own, so it was a little bit complicated. With a pet even, so
Yeah.
I'm glad it worked out. It always works out.
That's the belief, right?
Yes.
If you go up, get up in the morning, everything gonna work out for me. Okay.
Yes,
If it's that
yes.
belief, nothing
Nothing
can
will stop you.
Exactly.
There you go.
Okay, so let's come back. So you came to Madrid with your cat. You had some help from people from Colombia. So you got a job here, or what happened then?
So we enrolled to the University of Alcalá under Institute of Franklin.
Okay, the same university when you call it. Yeah.
Correct. I met her and we all went to the same school. We did a different course, but we also were allocated to different schools also, depending on where we got. And yeah, we did like Monday to Thursday, we have our work schedule, and then on Fridays we go to the university.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you was involved in this assisting teaching program with the city of Madrid.
Correct.
So I had this lady from Panama, Claudia or Clau, and she told us a story. You can listen in the podcast. That she was so happy. She was just an assistant, not a real teacher, but she went out with these kids like maybe 6-7 years old, and they're from all over other Spanish-speaking countries in the world, and they was shy in the class, but when they was together with her, they got embraced to speak a little bit English, right?
Yes.
And then she encouraged them. It was so a nice story to hear this, and she was so happy. She was so passionate for this. She was so happy that they did a kind of presentation, even with the simple English, right? That's the future, right?
Yes, getting the kids to be exposed to another language will help them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of happy that Madrid is doing this because, I mean, they need it also, right? Because if they want to compete international, they have to teach their children English, right?
Yes, but they also teach French in the school, so they
Of
want to be
course.
trilingual as much as possible.
They teach also German because a lot of Spanish people work in Germany
There
now.
you go. There you go. I think the European languages and English are important
Yes.
to everybody here. So
that's the situation in Europe. You can't even speak only one or two languages.
Exactly.
You have to speak even more, right?
yes, for 100%. I mean, coming from Singapore, our friends are all from different cultures and different races. So like we tend to also want to like learn what our friends are saying, and so we learn more than one language other than English, other than from their own cultural background.
So you mentioned your background is Sri Lanka and Portuguese. So
Yes.
did you speak actually some of these languages like Portuguese, and I don't even know the language in Sri Lanka. There's actually two, I believe.
It's Sinhalese, that's the main one.
Yes.
Yes, I understand like a few of it. Mostly Sinhalese. I haven't met my Portuguese family as much, and they speak like different kind of Portuguese, like Creole Portuguese. And so
Wow, yeah, that's okay.
I wasn't exposed to that side as much as the Sri Lankan side.
But that's also, I mean, then you're part of the history of human beings because there was Portuguese people who went out to this area and then
Exactly.
created some settlements, some trade centers.
Correct.
And that's what the influence, like in India there was Gao, what was a Portuguese thing, right?
Yes, yes.
And I mean, that's all, it started when the European went out in the world and make trade, right?
Correct.
With the good side and the bad side.